Hello there, my lovely. So, I'm gonna talk to you totally honestly, okay? This is my second time recording this audio. I forgot to adjust the mic sensitivity from my normal ASMR videos, and then tapped out while I was recording the video. And as a result, I was peeking the mic the entire time without realizing it. Isn't that fun? So, my lovely, I'm going to go ahead and do it all over again, shall I? So, what we are going to do today, at today's meeting of the General Transfem Council, is I am going to name you, okay? I'm going to give you a bunch of names, and as I do that, I'm going to just talk to you and refer to you by these names, and you are going to evaluate how each of them makes you feel. You're going to make a decision based off of that, all right? Okay. Then, in the beginning, we are going to start by using some plant-themed names, okay? Because those are favorites of mine. All right. So, what do you think I should talk about, Azalea? What kind of story are you in the mood for? Should I tell you a real story, Azalea, or should I make something up? What do you think? Oh, you know what, Azalea? Maybe I could talk about the fanfic that I'm writing right now. Why not? Just two girls having a nice conversation. All right, Blossom. So, prior to starting YouTube, I actually wrote quite a bit. I started writing when I was... oh, how old was I, Blossom? I think I was in my... Yeah, I was around 20 to 21-ish when I first started writing, Blossom. That was about 5-ish years ago, okay? And it was a hobby, but I posted on a website called ScribbleHub. It's a great website where a lot of trans femme writing is posted. And that's sort of the thing, Cherry, right? After I graduated from high school, I stopped reading. I just didn't read much at all, which is a shame because I read a lot in high school. And so what ended up happening, Cherry, is I didn't read until eventually I just happened to stumble upon ScribbleHub. And I searched the gender bend tag on there, and I started reading stories there, and a lot of them weren't great. But then I realized, okay, Cherry, I realized you could filter by the transgender tag. And suddenly, Dahlia, an entire world of possibilities opened up to me. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, Dahlia. So many new options, so many stories with characters who resonated with me personally on a fundamental level. Okay, Dahlia? And so I started reading a bunch of these stories. And I'd for a long time had a lot of my own story ideas. And eventually there came a point where I just decided, why not try writing myself? Why not try and put my fantasies, my imagination on paper? And so, Dahlia, I made a terrible decision. And I decided, why not write a full-length novel with no outline? And so that was how my Scribble Hub account, Ashlyn Flag, was born. And that was how A Scale of Sapphire was started. A Scale of Sapphire was a fast and loose vent fic that was intended from the start to be novel length. I set myself a goal to write 1,000 words every week, and I stuck to it. The story took years to complete. It took a very, very, very long time, Dahlia. But I did stick to it. And as I was writing Scale of Sapphire, I improved as a writer as I went. And I sort of took breaks in the middle to write shorter stories, like my story, Agrosa Thrunakie, The Three Huntresses. That one is a personal favorite of mine. I wrote it when I started taking a classical mythology class. Okay? Fern? Started taking this mythology class, and it inspired me to write a story based off of Greek mythology that drew on a lot of myths that people don't talk about, Fern. You know? That drew on history. That was based on, the things we know about ancient Greek society. And it was really, really fun. Okay, Fern? It was... I had a blast researching for that story and writing that story. I wrote another short story about a coffee that transes a girl's gender. I wrote another about a vampire and a vampire hunter falling in love. That one was a little bit spicy, admittedly. Like, I'm gonna be honest, Fern. If you want some spicy content by Faye, the story An Exercise in Trust by Ashlyn Flag, because that's my pen name when I write, was really good. I'm really proud of that one. It's nice short form smut. But anyways, Fern, what ended up happening, right, is I ended up finishing A Scale of Sapphire. I finished that novel. After ages and ages of working on it, I finished it. Actually, fun fact, Holly. Okay, Holly, is I finished it while recovering from bottom surgery. I set myself a rule that a chapter had to release every week of at least 1,000 words. And I kept up with that for a long, long time. And then I had bottom surgery, and then I was in the hospital for a week, and then I was bedbound for a while after that. Bottom surgery it can be pretty intense, Holly. Admittedly, mine was more intense than the average. I had some complications that are very uncommon and a result of my disability, so you don't have to worry about that. But I was down for the count for a long time, and so I took a break from writing. And then when I was finally able to bear the weight of a laptop in my lap, I started writing again. Okay, Holly? And so I finished it up during recovery because there wasn't much else to do. Now, moving on to the present, Ivy. After Scale of Sapphire was finished, I basically stopped writing. I participated in occasional bundles with a group known as the Secret Trans Writing Lair, which is a group that I would highly recommend seeking out. There's a Secret Trans Writing Lair itch page, and we do collaborative bundles between a bunch of trans authors, mostly trans femme, actually. And so I still participate in bundles with them. We come up with a prompt or a shared theme for stories, and I'll write a short little blurb based around it. It gets tacked into the bundle. It's fun. And I've written like microfics, but God, Ivy, listen to me, okay? Trying to write a full-length novel as your first writing project is hard. Writing with that level of discipline for that long is hard. It is difficult. And when I finished it, I was kind of burnt out, especially with my work, with my day job, with all that. But that brings us to now. It's been quite a while since Scale of Sapphire finished, and my Scribble Hub page has sat with no updates, no change for a while, okay? And I want to keep writing. I really do, Juniper. God, I love writing, Juniper. And I'd been trying for so long to find the inspiration, to find the will to keep going, to do it. And then, well, I started playing Uma Musume, and that got a couple microfics out there. And then, Juniper, do you know what happened? I quit my day job. I no longer have a day job. This is my job. And it takes a lot of creative energy to make these audios. And I do enjoy it because I love storytelling. Obviously, that's why I write. But doing that plus a day job meant I didn't have anything left for just writing. Right, Juniper? And so, now that I no longer have a day job, you feel me? Now that I no longer have a day job, Lily, and now that I have something that's really drawn my attention, I'm going to start writing again. In particular, okay? Because I'm going to be honest, Lily, I've not written a full-length story that wasn't transgender. If I'm writing a story, Lily, the main character is going to be a trans girl. That's always going to be the case, 100% of the time. That is always, always, always the case, Lily. And that's not changing here. But I'm specifically writing a trans femme Uma Musume fic featuring Manhattan Cafe. I'm actually thinking of, now that I've done all this audio stuff, also releasing it in an audiobook format, because I think it would be fun, right? Reading it aloud for all of you, doing the voices of all the characters. That would be fun, I think, at least. And so, Lily, I am writing a story where Manhattan Cafe's trainer becomes an Uma Musume. Okay? In particular, Myrtle, I'm basing it around one specific event that happens when you do Cafe's story. My throat is dry. Give me one moment. I beg your pardon, Myrtle. for the interruption. In any case, there is an event in Manhattan Cafe's career where you go to the shrine together on New Year's. Every character goes to the shrine on New Year's, the second New Year's of a playthrough. It's just part of the format of the game, okay, Myrtle? But when you go there, the two of you overhear a woman say that the gods will grant a wish. That they'll grant any wish you make at the shrine on New Year's. And Cafe says, lies. There are no friendly gods to grant wishes here. I'll take you to a place where your wishes can really come true. I'm going to be honest, Olivia, Cafe is something else. She really is. And so she takes you to a weird, sort of almost mirror world town where shimmering text appears on the ground and you get to choose to make a wish. All right, Livy, you make a wish and it does come true. And so what I decided was, what if at some point the trainer, after Cafe's career is over, after Cafe is retiring from the Twinkle series, this trainer ends up in that wish-making place alone once again. And without meaning to, wishes to be an Uma Musume. All right, Liv? You with me? Now what happens after that is our character becomes Hiruno D'Amore. You're probably not familiar with that name, Rose. Not many people are. Hiruno D'Amore is one of the children of Manhattan Cafe in real life. The actual horse had many kids because racehorses tend to once they retire. And one of them, Rose, was named Hiruno D'Amore. And I look at the race record of Hiruno D'Amore and I think to myself, dear God, there is some angst there if you know where to look and you know how to write it. And so that has been what I have challenged myself to do. I am writing a fic about the newly horse-femmed Hiruno D'Amore, former trainer of Manhattan Cafe, and now someone who looks up to her more than anything. And one of the most fun things to do when it comes to writing, in my opinion, is research. It's fun to research these things, to learn about stuff that you might never have known about. Okay, Sylvia? And I've been learning so much about so many horses because obviously there are many horses that Hiruno D'Amore raced. Okay, Sylvie? For instance, Victor Pisa is a notable rival of Hiruno D'Amore, who pretty consistently performed better than this horse, and was on a win streak for a very long time. And so, Sylvia, I'm planning on kind of measuring the two of those characters against each other and having something really fun happen between them. It's going to be really good, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, Sylvia? It's going to be really good. I've been researching Asian Flash, who is already an Uma Musume, because Asian Flash actually does run against Hiruno D'Amore. a couple times in the real world. Sylvia, you gotta listen to me, Willow. Okay? You gotta listen to me, Willow. Writing is fun. Creative expression is fun. Researching for writing can be so fun. You can dig into things you never would have known about. There is an amazing picture of Hiro Diamore online of that horse blepping its tongue out, and I never would have known about that if I hadn't chosen to research Hiro Diamore. Okay, Willow? You gotta do it. You gotta do it, Willow. You have to. But yeah, I'm planning on running a story that kind of goes from Hirono's debut all the way up to a particular spring Tenno show. And I think it's going to be a really good story. I'm really excited. Let's go through just a couple more names and we're going to just rapid fire them and see how they feel, okay? How does that feel, Abby? My upstairs neighbors are kind of noisy, aren't they, Abby? I really hope you didn't hear that, but that was... Oh, those were some thumps, Ash, I tell you what. Oh yeah, no, listen, Ash, I'm gonna be running through a bunch of them, okay? We're just gonna go, Celeste. We're just gonna go. Do you want to be named after the transgender video game, Celeste? You could be. You're allowed to do that. No one's allowed to judge you for it, Celeste. No one's allowed to do that. You could be Charlotte. What do you think of that, Charlotte? There's no one who gets to decide what name you're allowed to have except you. Okay, Charlotte? No one gets to choose that for you. No one gets to take that from you, Chloe. Chloe is actually a name that I considered for a while. That's true. It's very true, Chloe. I think it's a pretty name. I think it's a very pretty name. I think it would suit you because you're pretty, Chloe. But then, you know, there are plenty of pretty names, aren't there, Evelyn? But only one that is yours. And I hope that together, Evie, we can figure out what that is. I hope that together we can discover what name it is that really feels most comfortable to you, Evelyn. That is what I want. That's what I'm trying to achieve here, more than anything. Is to find something you're comfortable with, Evelyn. Something that feels like you. You can be Gemma. Gemma's a very pretty name. Really, I could say any femme name and say it's pretty because they tend to be. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Gemma? Have any of these names stuck out to you yet? Was my story perhaps a little bit distracting? I sincerely hope not, Gemma. I really do. My apologies if it was a little distracting, Lily. No, I've already done Lily, haven't I? Luna. Luna's a good name. We've escaped the plant name situation, and now you're Luna. You're the moon. You're the moon because, you're pretty, and you follow me everywhere. Seriously, Luna, I don't know what it is, but like the moon is like obsessed with me. Like it shows up every night and then follows me everywhere. It's kind of creepy, to be honest, Lily. I'm not super here. I called you Lily again. My apologies, Luna. I'm in the L zone, and when I think of L, I think Lily, but no, you're Luna. Luna. Or maybe you're Mia. You ever think about that, Mia? Hmm? Maybe you're literally super cute and your name is Mia. I really wanted to try and call you these names in a sort of casual way, right, Mia? It is admittedly hard to just squeeze them in over and over again. It makes me feel like I'm like, oh, you know what it is, Mia? You're like a TikTok kid, okay, Mia? It's you keep getting distracted. You keep, oh, I want to play Subway Surfers. I want to keep scrolling. I want to keep scrolling. Mia, Mia, Mia. And so I keep having to say your name to get your attention back. That's what it is. That's what it feels like. All right, Valerie. I really hope, Val, that you found this helpful. I really hope that one of these names stuck out to you. One of them felt comfortable. If not, well, we can always try more names in the future, can't we, Val? There's no rush to decide. You know, your name is pretty important. And it's important to make sure that you're comfortable with it. So take your time deciding. Okay, Val? I'm happy to help.